What's up YouTube, Jeff back again from DopeTechDaily.com. Today I'm bringing you guys a quick look at the $199 New Mobile G3. Huge shout out to New Mobile. They did send this out to review, so I really appreciate that. So I could bring you guys a look at this phone. Now this is firmly a budget phone at $199, but it bears a striking resemblance to a flagship on the market, and you'll probably notice just by looking at it, it looks pretty similar to a Galaxy S9 or an S9 Plus. Now it is actually taller than the Galaxy S9, and that is just because of the fact that it does have a little bit chunkier bezels if you look at the around front, but it does have a 5.7-inch screen at 1440 by 720, and that's actually just a little bit above regular HD. It's not full HD. They call it HD Plus on the New Mobile G3, and you'll notice that it does have a lot of design similarities with the Galaxy S9. So if you're looking at getting something that looks premium and feels premium in the hand like the S9, but you don't want to pay, $800 or whatever, you could pick up the New Mobile G3. It's got that 2D curved glass. It's got a glass back. See, it's very reflective, and this blue color is very nice. It does have a fingerprint sensor. It's actually one thing I do like on the New Mobile G3 is the sensor is quite a bit bigger than the one on the S9, which makes it harder to reach on the S9. This one's a little bit easier to reach. It does have a dual camera like the Galaxy S9 Plus, so that's one thing it has over the regular Galaxy S9. If you look around front, it doesn't have the same drastic curvature that the Galaxy S9 has on the side. Even though it has 2D glass, it's definitely not curved quite as much. Of course, you're going to miss out on a lot of top-end features. The New Mobile G3 does have a MediaTek processor. That's one of the downsides. It does have USB Type-C though, just like the Galaxy S9, the S9 Plus. Fast charging, you've got your speaker cutouts on the bottom. Another thing that you do lose with the New Mobile G3 is you have no headphone jack. That's kind of a downside. You do have a SIM tray with 128 gigabyte micro SD expansion on the top. So a lot of the Galaxy S9 features that you might be interested in terms of design, you've got the 18:9 extra tall aspect ratio, all glass body. But some of the things that you might want, like waterproofing, the headphone jack, and of course the top of the end processor is not there. Let me talk a couple of things about the G3 on its own for a second that are also positives. You do get close to a stock build of Android on here. As you can see, very light customization. One thing I will mention that's very strange is that they have this app drawer button, even though it has the swipe up gesture like on the Pixel, and you can't actually remove this app drawer button in the stock launcher. It's very strange. On most launchers you can move this and actually get rid of it so that you can put another app there. You can't do that, and I don't know why New Mobile made that choice. It's a little strange. Pretty much a stock drop down dark setting shade. This is running on Nougat, so that's kind of a downside. It's running on Android 7.1.1. Does have the January 5th security patch, so that's pretty decent. A couple of other good things that you get on here, just like on the Galaxy S9, you're going to get 4 gigs of RAM. You also get 64 gigs of storage. That's kind of a big deal on a budget phone. Most budget phones have 16 gigs. 32 gigabytes at the most, so 64 gigs is kind of a lot, especially if you want to watch, a lot of media, store a lot of media for trips, etc. Let's talk about a couple of the downsides. The stock software is great, 64 gigs of storage, 4 gigs of RAM are great. The MediaTek processor is not so great. I've been using it, and there's a little bit of lag here and there, especially if you're going to be multitasking, if you're someone that's on, 5 social media apps, while you're also watching your YouTube videos. And like me, I'm responding to YouTube Studio notifications all the time. The apps do open a little bit slower, and if you're playing games along with that, you're definitely going to notice some lag when you're switching around and multitasking. So with the MediaTek processor, unfortunately, that's the way it goes. That's one of the downsides. With all this beautiful design and everything like that, you're going to get some shortcuts somewhere, and the shortcut here happens to be with the processor. Now the good news is the battery life is pretty good, 3,000 milliamp hour battery life. Again, it does have USB Type-C for charging with fast charge. The cameras are also pretty good on this phone for a phone in the $199 price category. I read a couple of reviews, people saying the camera is not that great. I mean, no, it's not great in low light, but what do you expect for $199? The selfie camera is actually really good, 13 megapixel selfie camera on the front. To be honest with you, I hate to say it, but the selfie camera on the Galaxy S9 is garbage. I would actually say the New Mobile G3 has as good or better of a selfie cam than the one on the S9. I just don't like the front-facing camera on the S9. I always get blurry shots. This selfie I took of myself doesn't look great because I need to shave, but it is mostly in focus, and the lighting is decent for an indoor, well-lit shot inside the studio. It's not bad. I took a couple photos indoors just to see how good the detail is. The detail is very good if the photos are well lit, and that's kind of my judge of a budget phone. I don't expect to get amazing low light photos. In fact, there's really almost no point in taking a bunch of low light photos. They're going to be grainy, and if you compare to something like the S9, why would you do that? This one's relatively low light indoors, and the detail is still pretty good. Not too much blowing out of things in bright lit areas either. So my Easter dinner. Pretty nice detail. I mean, I was pretty impressed with the camera. For $199, I'm not going to judge the camera against the Galaxy S9's rear camera, which we know is one of the best in the business. You also get a dual camera, which, you know, for $199, if you want to take those sort of shots that you get, it affords you with a dual camera. That's a nice feature to have. Of course, you don't get AR emoji or super slow-mo or anything, but those are flagship premium features that a lot of people aren't even using. Now, the display quality, like I said, you only get this 1440 by 720 display, which is not that high resolution, but it's actually a pretty decent display. The viewing angles aren't awful. I mean, you're going to get a little bit of color shift on a display in this price point, but the viewing angles aren't terrible, and I was able to live with it. It's actually not any worse than on the Pixel 2 or the Pixel 2 XL with those displays. We talked about that last year. I was pretty impressed with the display. It's not super high res, but for $199. So anyway, if you're someone who's looking for a phone and you really care about design over everything else, and you want some of the features from the Galaxy S9 and the S9 Plus, like the beautiful glass design, you want the 18:9 screen ratio, dual cameras, fingerprint sensor, and you like close to stock Android, I mean, you can't hardly go wrong for $199 if you're not someone who needs beast mode performance, if you're making some calls, doing some text messaging. One last thing I forgot. This thing also has facial recognition, which is kind of a high-end feature, but I have to tell you, it's really, really not that great. The facial lock right here, if you recognize your face, you can't use fingerprints. And if you use fingerprints, you can't use face lock. I tried to use them simultaneously, and whenever you use one, it automatically clears the other from the memory. So that's kind of stupid. The face lock's actually not too bad. Pretty hard to demonstrate from behind the camera, and I prefer having the fingerprint. I don't know why you would not allow you to have both of those enabled at the same time. Obviously, it's not anything secure like the iris scanning on the Galaxy S9, but still a cool feature to have on a budget phone. But again, why not allow face unlock and the fingerprint sensor? So again, if you want design and you do light social media, text messaging, phone calls, you want some of those flagship features, and you value the beauty of the phone over some of those other productivity and the higher price, can't go wrong with the new Mobile G3. I'll drop a link below if you guys want to check it out. Appreciate you guys checking out the review. If you want to follow me over at Dope Tech Daily, Google+, Instagram, and Twitter, the links are in the description. Also find me writing over at GadgetHacks.com, where I write about Android. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification icon so I can make future videos like this. I appreciate you guys checking it out, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching.